Hi there, my name's Ash. Welcome to your first guitar lesson, and today we're going to learn how to tune our guitars before we start playing. Okay, so before we start, we're going to learn the names of the individual strings on the guitar. Okay, now we have 6 strings here. There are 3 thicker ones and 3 thinner ones. Okay, and the notes are as follows. Our low string will sound an E. Our second string from the top will sound an A. Our third string down will sound a D. Our fourth string will sound a G. Our fifth string will sound a B. And our top string will sound an E. Now, if that's completely new to you, don't worry about it. I'm going to give you a little bit of a rhyme to remember so that you can easily remember what these are, okay? So, we're going to go with the rhyme. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Okay? And once you get that in your head, that is the names of the strings from low to high, okay? Eddie, E, 8, A, D, for don't, G, for good, B for bye, there we go, and E for Eddie, okay? So, Eddie ate dynamite, good by Eddie, E, A, D, G, B, E, okay? So if you're using an electric guitar, another thing to be aware of just before you start playing, just make sure that these controls here, your volume and your tone controls, are all the way up, okay? Because if they are down, the guitar will make no noise, okay? If you plug into an amp, so always check that as well before we get started, okay? So what do we do if your guitar strings aren't in tune? So here's a couple of little ways where you can tune your guitar so you can make sure everything's spot in and in tune. So I'm going to just mess around with some of these. I'm going to just throw a few of these off, okay? Most likely your strings will follow a pattern. When you're out of tune, a lot of them, say if you've got some that are flat, that are too low, a lot of them will follow the same thing. They'll all be too low. It's very rare that you'll find they're completely out, but I'm going to show you what to do with that in case that should happen, okay? Now the easiest way to do this is if you have an electronic tuner, like a pedal tuner or something like that. Definitely just plug into that. That will do it well. Other things you can have are like headstock tuners. But if you don't have that and you have to do it by ear, here's what you do. All right. So I'm going to take our low E as an example here. All right. And I'm going to give you tuning notes on the end of this video. Now, I'm not in tune there. Okay. What I actually want is I want these 2 notes to match. Now, if you listen to that low one, you'll hear they're very much lower than that top one, okay? Now, if I take this tuning key here, so this is the lowest string, so I'm going to go for the tuning key closest to me, okay? And I'm going to turn this key away from me, so this way, okay? And I'm going to do that until it sounds like my low E string and my high E string are matching, okay? And I'm going to keep picking them as I do it, so watch this. So I'm turning the key, getting closer. Good. So can you hear how that sounds like the same note now? Okay, that's where you want to start with. And if your E string is out of tune, you do the same thing. You would just play your low string, play your top E, until they match, okay? But while you're tuning your guitar, you should be getting very similar notes to what I'm getting here. You want your guitar to kind of match my guitar. Good. Okay, let's follow suit then. So another good way to test if your guitar's in tune is for most of these strings, not all, but most, the 5th string, the 5th fret of a string will correspond to the open next string down. Okay, so for example, if I play my low E string and then I fret 5 where the second dot is on my guitar, and I play that note. Now if I play the next string open, you'll find they should match. Whoops. Hear that? How they're the same? That should be the case. However, this is how you can tell if you're out of tune. If you do that and your open string doesn't match, then we're going to do a similar thing. We're just going to twist the key. It's not so easy to do it at the same time here. But you want to make those 2 notes match. Okay, let's follow that system down and see if we can do the same for the next string. So that was the open A string we just did. So I'm going to fret 5 of the A string, and now I'm going to play the open D string. Now they're close, but they're not quite Right, can you hear how there's like a slight wobble between them? Alright, so that open D string is sounding now slightly flat to me. So I'm going to turn the key. And you can hear as I do it, that wobble's just going away. Alright. And there we go. Now our D string is in tune. Let's carry on down. So here's the 5th fret of the D string. And I'm going to play the open G. Well, that's very out, isn't it? That's not right at all. Okay, so try and ask yourself when you're doing this, do they sound sharp or flat? To me, that sounds flat. So I'm going to twist the key again. If it's flat, I'm going to go away from me. And there we go. Now they match, now they're in tune. Okay, next one we're going to do is we're going to do the G string. Now this is where things get a little bit confusing. On the G string and the G string only, your open string down following that is going to correspond to the 4th fret. This is to do with how the guitar is tuned, but if I play the 4th fret of the G, that should correspond to my open B string. Now obviously they are slightly out. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Now, this note, this open B string, sounds ever so slightly sharp. Okay, so I'm going to turn the key the other way now. Okay, if I do this, it's the 2nd from the top, so it's the 2nd furthest away from me. I'm going to turn this key the other way. Okay. There we go. Now they're in tune. All right. Now when we go down to the B string to do our top E string, your top E string should already be in tune from you doing it with your low string. Okay. But again, the same thing. It will correspond to the 5th fret. So if I play the 5th fret, and then I play the open string, so now they're slightly off. So still a little bit off. A little more. There we go. Okay. And now my guitar is more or less in tune. Okay, that's as close as it needs to be for this lesson. Okay, the only time you want to be looking at this is just in case everything goes a little bit off. All right, if you still haven't managed to get your guitar in tune right now, I'm going to give you some tuning notes so that you can hear what you're in tune. So if you can't match it to your own notes or you're really having trouble, you can skip forward to this part of the video and you can just go up against my tuning notes here. Okay, so I'll just get myself in tune and we'll do that for you. Okay, here we go. So here's your low E string. I'm going to play it twice. Just try and make your low E string match. Good. Let's now do the A string. This is the next string down. Here's the D string. This is the G string. This is the B string. And finally, here's the high E string. Okay, there you go. Your guitar should now be completely in tune and ready to go. Let's get to the lesson.